Hello and welcome to another video. Unbelievable. I thought I'd come here today to the pub because I thought it'd be nice and quiet. You cannot go wrong, can you? Coming to a pub in the country and there's not going to be any sound interference or anything else happen, but of course somebody flies a plane over. Hope you're doing well. Yeah, I'm at the pub today. We're drinking some Thatcher's 0% alcohol-free cider. I thought I'd start the review like this today because I thought it was a special treat, and it's a Friday and I've got a day off and I'm doing what I love the most, which is ride motorcycles and make films and things. So yeah, today is all about the Triumph Rocket 3. I've had the bike for 2 weeks now, been riding it for over 400 miles. I've done it now. I've decided that it's one of the most misunderstood bikes that I've ever ridden because I think even I used to look at the Rocket 3 and think it was a big heavy thing which probably didn't handle very well, and it just looked a bit of a beast to be riding around. How wrong was I? I mean, it's actually proved to be the absolute opposite of what I thought it would be to ride. And here it is. So this is the Triumph Rocket 3. I'm going to quickly walk through it with you and just let you know some of the things that really stick out to me about the bike. So this is the Triumph Rocket Storm GT. So the Storm bit basically means we've got a lovely paint job there, two-tone paint with the pinstripes. Beautiful finish on it. Really, really excellent finish on this bike. Nothing to complain about there. It's a 2,458cc engine to be precise. It makes it easy to ride as well because we have 225 Newton meters of torque at just 4,000 revs. Now this particular model is the GT model. So we have the front facing pegs there. There is an R model as well. So if you want the option of having mid pegs, then that's not a problem, that can be done. You can just have the pegs there on the other model. The other model also has different bars. They're not so swept back like the GT. They're kind of straight. It's got a massive rear tyre on the back. Now you might think, well, that's ridiculous. Why are they doing that? Is it just for show? Is it just for the look of it? No, it isn't. I found that having a big tyre like that has actually done me a favour, because what it does is that when you're leaning into a corner, you're using all of the tyre. There doesn't come a point where you suddenly think, oh, I'm going to go over it on its side, because that tyre actually keeps the bike from actually tipping over too far. I'm sat on here. The bars are in a nice position. This GT model is swept back bars as well. And so it's really easy to get a hold down, not leant over the tank at all. And it's just really comfortable, and hence why it is a Grand Tour version. It really does, and that is something which I really like about this bike, is that you can do hundreds of miles on this bike. I've done 160, 170 mile days on this bike. It's been a joy. I've got off, I got back on, and I feel like I can do another 170 miles. You can really ride this bike, not just for touring, but you can cross continents with this bike. It'll be a really good one to go for. And of course, we've got the cruise control as well, which helps that even more. With a pillion on the back, you don't notice them at all. It's really easy to ride with a pillion. Now what I'm going to do in this review, I'm going to take you through the bike. We're going to ride in town. We're going to go in the dual carriageway motorway and just see what it's generally like riding the bike, and see what it's like to live with, basically. And one thing I do want to get across as well, this bike is £24,000. It's a lot of money, all right? It's going to be out of reach of most of us, including myself. That being said, obviously there's PCP, you can go down that road. That being said, I used to look at this and think, oh, 24 grand, I mean, what does it actually do? What can you do with this bike? Take it from me, it's 24 grand, which this bike rides like nothing else I've ever ridden. I mean, obviously we've got the smoothness of the triple engine, the work that has gone into the engineering and the handling, it shines. You can really see how much has gone into this bike.
As you can imagine, it's got all the power in the world that you will ever need. You can leave it in 6th gear and it'll just pull you through the curves, pull you through the lines. Just lovely. Very, very comfortable, handles beautifully. It gives you a lot of confidence again with the back wheel there, and the front wheel being a wide section that you could just leave it in. What am I in 5th gear now? I could probably put it in 6th gear now, no problem. And I will leave it in 6th gear until I come to a stop. As long as I'm doing over sort of 30-40 miles an hour, it's absolutely stunning. I'm dead comfortable, even with my feet out the front here. I'm not getting any comfort issues at all. And I've already done, what have I done today? 109 miles today. And I'm still super, super comfortable. If I need to get past something, there's hardly any hesitation in my mind that I'm going to get past it. I can just knock it down a gear. Like now, down to 3rd gear. And the power is there instantly. I don't have to second guess. You still have to plan, of course, but you know that when you do commit to an overtake, that you're going to be in and out pretty quickly, or should I say out and in pretty quickly. So again, we'll put it in 6th gear now, and again I'm going uphill now in 6th gear, 52 miles an hour. If I do want to roll on, even uphill, look, no complaining, and right up to 62 miles an hour instantly. It's a very comfortable bike on the B roads. So it's a massive tick once again for the Rocket 3 out on the back roads. Oh, I should say, what's it like to roll into the corners? It's just, again, it's just wonderful. It just rolls in. You can leave it in the gear again, and it just pulls out the corner. Just wonderful. It really is wonderful. Again, uphill again. I'm in 5th gear. Whatever. You know what I'm saying. Let's put it in 6th gear just to prove a point. And again, up a steep hill. It's just pulling me. It's so relaxing, so comfortable, and I feel immersed in the countryside at the moment. I'm totally sucking all of this up because I haven't got to think about changing gear, changing up or down. The engine just makes this sort of riding pretty much perfect, really. It's just what you want in a bike. Wonderful. Well done, guys. Another really useful feature on this bike, you imagine being loaded up with a pillion, you've just done a long day on the saddle and you've got your luggage. I can pull up to a stop here, even on this steep hill, like so, and I can squish the front brake lever once and it's locked the brakes for me, so I can just relax, put my feet down, give my arms a bit of a shake, ready for the next leg of the journey. That's a really useful thing to have, and when I'm ready to go again, over we go and off we go. Right, so when I go on my magic turntable, I have to lean forward like that. It's not very good, is it? Still works though. Right, through the traffic, you would have thought that this would be hard work, wouldn't you? And you would have thought that, you know, the clutching in and out might become a bit tedious and a bit tiring, a bit fatiguing. No, again, it handles so well that even doing this is just nothing short of a joy. You got to be mindful. I am on a big bike, and it does tend to be difficult to get through smaller lane traffic. Lads, nice to meet you. So I've got to be mindful of that. If I want to squirt past a car, then obviously I have all the power in the world to do that. Now I'm going to go through down here. Again, there's a quick squirt, and then we're going to get down this part here, come up to the front of the lights and get ready to go again. Up and down the gears, it never jumps out of gear. There's never an issue there. It's a big bike. I'm very prominent in people's mirrors. I've got a double headlight as well, which helps. Pulling away from the lights, it's quite a quick bike, so there's no issue there. I'm not low to the ground either. You might be watching this and thinking, well, it looks quite low to the ground, but it's middle of the road really. Visibility wise, I've got loads. The mirrors are good, they don't wobble too much. I do have to take my eyes off the road to be able to see them, because they're bar end mirrors, so they're kind of out the way a little bit there. But again, you know, you just get used to that, don't you? You just look in the mirror, build up the information that you need, and cast a mental memory or picture of it. So yes, it's just literally the width of the bike. Actually, they're all safe to go here. So yeah, in town, you know, you would have thought this would be a real lump to move around, but it really isn't. It's actually, again, it's just a pleasure. I guess the only thing I can put against it really is firstly the width of the bike, difficult to get through lanes of traffic, and also it does get very hot. You really feel the heat pumping off of that engine, but that's got to be expected as well. It's a huge amount of power. There's big lumps of metal moving around in there, so it's going to get hot, isn't it? Now I know what you're thinking, what is this fruitcake doing in a country lane on a bike that is 2,500cc? Well, it's actually over that, isn't it? Well, first of all, I wanted to show you the view, because it's absolutely fantastic up here. It really is. Even better in the flesh, I can assure you. But my point is really is that if you wanted a laner and you'd use it a lot in the lanes, then don't be intimidated by it. Yes, if you meet a car, you're not going to be able to reverse very well if you're going uphill. But in fact, it's the fueling is so good, and they've managed the power of the engine so well that it just isn't intimidating at all. I really didn't think this thing would handle so well in country lanes like this. So I just want to prove that point really, that if you did live out in the country, you know, that you mustn't be intimidated by it or cancel it out, because it's really good. And it's so, like, you know, you point it in the direction that you want it to go and it will just go, you know, it just do what you ask it to. You have to be a little bit careful on the gravel, I suppose, of course, but you do on any bike anyway, don't you? So just go steady with the throttle as well. If you're concerned about spinning up the back end with whiskey throttling or whatever, then just put it in rain mode and it will just look after you there. There's a big bump there, let's avoid that one. There you go. Potholes everywhere these days. So yeah, you can do it, you know. This bike is more than capable, because it handles so well, of doing back lane lanes. Yeah. And I'm going to go left here for a minute. Now the indicators are a little bit strange in the fact that they don't move a lot. You know, it's just little movements. You're waiting for a click, but nothing seems to click into play. So it's not particularly a negative, it's just something you get used to. But at the same time, still relevant, because it always feels like, you know, am I actually turning the indicators on? So what we're going to do now, we're going to go out onto the motorway, try if I can find it, or the dual carriageway, and see what it's like out there. Now, as you can imagine, with an engine this size, let's just pull out of here, make sure I'm okay. Yeah, so up to speed incredibly quickly, 70 miles an hour, pretty instant really. And what I like about this bike is that you can feel the back wheel skipping around every now and then when you lay the power on. It's got a lot to put up with, that back wheel. So we've got a 6-speed box. I'm doing 70 miles an hour now. Just going to take it down to 60 just for a second. If I was overtaken, needed to hurry up, even in 6th gear, you know, that's without changing gear. The roll-on is just endless. It's direct, it's quick, and it will get you up to speed very, very quickly. So the bike does come with cruise control. Let's just set this. No, I want to set it to 70. So there you go. So yeah, the bike does come with cruise control. It makes it so it's just a joy, isn't it, when you've got cruise control. You haven't got to go on and off with the throttle. You know, it's one less thing if you're doing a big mile day that you don't have to think about. So anything that can help you on a long tour or a long ride, then all the better at the end of the day. It's a wonderful thing. I can click up and down if I want to knock off a bit of speed. I can make the cruise control go down to, I don't know, 65 or whatever. It's locked in at 71 at the moment. I can just click it down to 70. So I'll be breaking the speed limit. Don't want to do that, do we? So yeah, it's going uphill now, and the engine and the ECU is looking after me. It's taking over the throttle response and just adjusting to the speed that I've set. So for doing a long journey, if you had luggage on this, whether you have soft luggage, or there are ways you can get hard luggage on it as well, and let's say you were doing a 150 or 200 mile day doing this, then not only would you get off the bike at the end of the day and still feel very comfortable, you could still go for a night out somewhere or whatever you're going to be doing, because it's just easy. Again, the bike has so much power, it handles so well. The back tyre, with it being massive, just keeps the bike upright nicely. It's just easy. Everything this bike comes up against, it just makes mincemeat out of it. So yeah, for this sort of work, it's more than capable, 2 up with luggage. The suspension's still really nice. It's not plush, but it's just nice. It's just absolutely 10 out of 10. It's bang on. You know, no matter whether on the back roads or country lanes, in the city, the suspension is just fantastic. Really is. So yeah, if you're going to be buying one of these for bigger miles and you want to do it in comfort, get one of these. It's kind of hard to beat. Yes, it's a naked bike. You might want to screen. If it rains, your legs are going to get wet because it's quite open down there. But it's just a wonderful bike to cruise on highways and motorways, dual carriageways and the like. Top marks once again, Triumph. Well done. A few things which I know that you lot are thinking is, how heavy is this to manoeuvre? Now, first of all, a common question which people have been coming up and asking me about, and believe me, a lot of people come up and ask me about this bike. It is very much a bike which you stop and people just appear from out of nowhere. And what they say is what is it like to move around? How heavy is it? It is a heavy bike at the end of the day. You know, it's over 250 kilograms, so it is a lump. Now with this particular model, the GT, we have this back buffer rest here, which does actually move up and down as well, I might add. So we've got that to grab onto. Now I'm, you know, average height, I'm 5'8". I've got a hand there, I've got a hand there. I'm not stretching out like this, trying to move it, as you can see. So hold there, and I can move it back and forward quite easily. You do feel the weight when you steer it a little bit more, and it is quite a wide handlebarred bike. Not to mention we got the big wing mirrors here as well, the bar end mirrors here as well. So it is a lump, there's no doubt about it, but they've done all they can. I think it's going to be as easy as they could have made it to move around. It is shaft drive as well, so
It's you're going to have a bonus there. You're not going to be messing around with chains. 10,000 mile service intervals, I think is fantastic. The pillion is super comfortable on the back here. And whilst we're talking about pillions, and all my boys have been on it and said that it was supremely comfortable. Now, what do you think is missing there? It's the pillion pegs, isn't it? So what they've done, again, great design by Triumph, is they've tucked it away in here. And there you go. There's your pillion pegs, which I think is just superb. See the spring up there as well, actually. Yeah, I think that's fantastic that they've done that. So just fold it up, put it away, and it just, yeah, you can't even see it. So great job there by Triumph. Let's talk about the dash a minute. We haven't done that yet, have we? So, just going to fire it up, like so. It's a keyless ignition. Now, I'm not going to go too extensively into this because it can get quite involved, as you can imagine. But it's a very nice looking dash, as you can see. Got your neutral there, your gear indicator, your rev bar, all TFT display, your fuel gauge, and your settings here for your modes. So we've got road, we've got rain, got sport, and user settings as well. So yeah, I mean, it's and rider settings as well. So it's a really nice setup there, really clear, really easy to see. You don't have to squint to look at the information you need. And then obviously we've got all the other different modes down here, the mileage I've done, time, just everything that you can imagine really that you need to see. And then obviously up the top we've got all the warning lights up there as well. So on this bar we've got the steering lock. So what we do is we turn it over to the right like that, we push that button, and now the steering is locked. I can walk away from the bike and I know that it is fully secure. All right, so electronic lock gear, which is unusual. Now when you start the bike up, it's when it's in neutral, it's the sort of bike that won't over rev. If it's in neutral and you've got the stand up, then it will just rev up to 2,000 revs. Like that. That's all you've got in neutral. So what we'll do is we'll put it in gear. So much power, so much power. Fantastic. And as you can see there, my legs are out the front there. So as we talked about earlier, so beautiful looking bike, fantastic machine. This is the last day that I've got it. Believe it or not, it's been raining for the last 5 days. And there's so many other things that I've wanted to do with this bike, but unfortunately I haven't had it long enough. That being said, 3 weeks is 3 weeks. Thank you very much, Triumph. I've adored this bike, I really have. I've got one in my dream garage now. Unfortunately, that's where it's going to stay, I would imagine. However, I've had great trips on it down to Cornwall. I've loved making the film that I have been able to make on it. Hopefully I've got enough. It's going back tomorrow, so it's always a bit of a worry that you're missing something, but I think I've covered most of it. So overall, the Triumph Rocket is a wonderful piece of engineering. It really is. In a world where everything's getting a bit scrimped back and they're cutting back on this, cutting back on that, you know, trying to squish the emissions and do this. This is a 2,500cc bike. I think it's wonderful that there's still engineers out there and companies that are still willing to take a punt on doing something different, and they've absolutely pulled it off with this one. The previous generations of the Rocket I've sat on, I've had a little mess around with. I found the clutches quite hard to pull. Not anymore. It's a really nice light clutch now. It's a very compliant bike. It's amazing how they've harnessed all that power into a well handling bike. And I never thought I was going to say that this bike handles really well. I think more people need to understand what this bike is about. From my knowledge and the people that I've spoken to, they all look at it as a big, dare I say it, a big lardy sort of bike to hump around. Yes, it is, but at the same time, it's not all about that. It does handle supremely well, you know, a lot better than some bikes with half the power. So braking is fantastic with the Brembo brakes. It's something for me which has been a really special bike to ride. There's nothing that I've ridden that rides like this, and I wasn't expecting it to be so comfortable. And as I said earlier, you know, you can really do some big miles on this bike effortlessly. I didn't think I was going to like the forward pegs, but in fact, as it happens, it actually takes a lot of weight off of your legs, and I've been fine with it. I might get a bigger screen if it was me for highway riding and motorways and all that, but apart from that, you know, the suspension's really good on it. It's so compliant, you know, when you open up the power, you really feel it kind of stiffen up and just hold the bike in firmly. So as you can tell, it's a glowing report for me. I think it really is something special, this bike. So I hope that they keep on making it, because it'll be a sad day when they stop making these bikes. But the Triumph Rocket 3 Storm, highly recommended. If you've got the money, have a try. Even if you haven't, try and have a go in one anyway, because it's a superb bike to ride, a real treat. Thanks to Triumph. Thank you very much to you for watching this video. If you could give it a like, that would be really, really appreciated, because it all helps on the long term. I've got more stuff coming up on Triumph, hopefully more bikes as well. And yeah, I'm going to put some links up at the end of Triumphs which I've ridden before. But apart from that, wonderful bike. Love my time with it. I'm really going to miss it. And thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you on the next video. Thank you very much.